Have you got?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, our team reveal specials. Tonight, we're doubling up. We've got Andy Barnett. Hey there, pal.
Hi there. Thanks for having us on.
Well, it's a pleasure, as always. And all the way down south as you can get, Matt Woolley. How's it going, pal?
Yeah, really good. And great to be on with Andy as well. Looking forward to this.
Yep. Well, obviously, this is pre-recorded. Ben, you're on with me as well.
Yeah.
We're just going to let these lads go through the teams and ask a few questions along the way on their thoughts and the strategy behind it, and see if it's any different to ours, which were revealed last night. Andy, you're on the short straw. You're going to go first. Fire away, mate.
No problem. It's, well, as everybody knows, this season it's going to be quite difficult because I think there's quite a lot more what you would call almost premium and premium picks this year. They've really upped the prices of players, so it's going to be very difficult for you to get what you want from the beginning. So here goes. I'm set on quite possibly about 8 of this 11, so it could possibly change, but to start off with, I've got Dubravka in goal. Now, I know he's possibly got some kind of a niggle, and there's a couple of possibilities like Bay India and Rouse, but he's 2 million. And the thing is, it's quite difficult getting a starting keeper that is 2 million that's going to be safe, because Rouse might not play. There's a possible situation where he might not start. And the last game in pre-season, I'm sure the other 2 keepers that they've got played. And with Dubravka, he must have a niggle because the other 2 keepers for Burnley played as well. Bay India, if you put him in, then it's a transfer out if he doesn't keep his spot, because you've got the other Man U keeper, Anana, just come in. So I think that budget building is going to be fairly important to start off with. So yes, we do have 2 transfers a week, but I don't really want to put anybody in my team that I think is possibly going to need changing in front of other people that might be more important. So if I know somebody's possibly going to be a minutes risk or not play, I'd rather not have them in my team because that's just booking a transfer out, isn't it? After a game where they either score no points or where it's just unlucky. A game that they just score no points because somebody else comes in and takes the place. Dubravka for 2 million. I've had to put him in at the moment because all the budget spent elsewhere. The defence is fairly strong. First one in defence is Cucurella from Chelsea, and he's 4.5 million, isn't he? Second player, I mean, obviously I don't have to explain why I've put him in. You know, he can get lots of bonus points. He also can score goals, and he does play high up the pitch if he's not in the left-hand side of the back three. But he still gets up even if he is in a back three. Second one, once again, another strong one, which is 4.5 million. It's Nori for Manchester City, and he comes in at 4.5 million. There's a reason why I've put him in. I know he's expensive. You can get cheaper defenders, but I'll come to that later on. And my third defender of my back three is going to be De Kuiper. Obviously, from the videos that have been posted already from Dream Team, a lot of people are showing interest in De Kuiper because of his attacking capabilities, which everybody's seen in the international tournaments. Not so much for his club team, but yeah, I think he could quite possibly do well. And he's 3 million, so he's kind of like a budget pick for me. The next budget pick for me is my first midfielder. Now, he's by no means settled in that position. So by Friday, he could quite possibly move out. And it's Arias, John Arias. And he was the guy that played for Fluminense in the Club World Cup. Fluminense, they placed quite a lot of importance on him, and he was kind of like their talisman. A lot of the play went through him. He was on, like 3 kicks and corners and stuff like that. And I just think he could be a good replacement for Cunha at Wolves. But as with everything, any new players coming into the Premier League, it's kind of a wait and see. Because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Do you know over the past, say, 10 seasons, can you think of any? I'll give you a few names. So you've got Salah, Haaland, Luis Diaz, and Kudus. Yeah. Now those 4 names, the players that came in. Well, Salah on his second visit when he came to Liverpool. They're the ones that kind of really did well. Kudus in his first season at West Ham. Salah, obviously Diaz when he came halfway through the season, didn't he? And if I remember rightly, and he did really well. And Haaland, obviously. But apart from them, can you think of anybody else that's come in to the Premier League or gone from one team to a better team in the Premier League and tore it up? There's nothing that comes to mind immediately, is there?
No.
It's usually a transitional period, isn't it?
That's correct. And also, you don't know if someone comes from another league, you don't know whether. So it's very. So when you say in the last 10 years, I know there's probably going to be more, but if you can only think of 4, it's probably going to be highly unlikely for new players coming into the league. So the majority of my team is going to be based on players that are kind of bread and butter, that I know that actually get points and I know that are going to play for the teams. So yeah, John Arias, obviously he might go if something better comes along, or I'd make a couple of changes. The next one is Reinders for Man City, the midfielder, and he comes in at 4.5 million. I just think he had a really good time at AC Milan. It was that he was playing with, and he was integral to setting up play. He got quite a few assists, and he obviously didn't score 20 goals. I think he got about 12 or 13 goals and about 11 assists or something. But for a midfielder, that's quite good in this game. And he also seems to look busy, like in the European competitions last year. So yeah, he's my next pick. So Aït-Nouri and Reinders, obviously, the reason for that, you probably realise I'm probably not going with Haaland. And I'm hoping that Aït-Nouri and Reinders are the guys that are either going to assist Haaland if he does score, or score points if Haaland doesn't bang. So it is a little bit of a risk, but it is explainable. The next player is from Everton. It's that Iliman Ndiaye. Yeah, and he's the reason why I've put him in is because he's actually all right for the bonus from on last year. The only iffy thing is, Everton have just got Grealish coming in, and they've also got Dewsbury Hall coming in. Now, if Dewsbury Hall and Grealish come in, is that going to put Ndiaye's position at risk? I'm not sure because I haven't looked into it that much, but
he's got to be the first name on the team sheet. He's unbelievable. He's a really, really good player. They've got a very good talent on their hands there. He's shown it consistently as well. He scores, he assists. I think they've got to find a way of fitting all them in. I think you're probably more likely to see bloody Beto sit off and probably playing for it. They've got to have him on the pitch.
Right.
Sure.
But they've also got
surely,
that.
surely it's better for him that Grealish is there, because then that means he should play through the middle.
Yeah.
It'd just be interesting to see. But anyway, the reason he's there is for that reason. You know, I think he's a good player. He gets good bonus points.
Yeah, he does.
He gets good minutes. And he could possibly be taking penalties as well. And they've got the Carabao Cup in the second round. David Moyes last year, West Ham played. They went strong, didn't they?
Yeah.
When David Moyes was in charge of West Ham. So I'm hoping it's the same sort of thing, that he plays strong with Everton as well. The other person that I've got in midfield, Bruno Fernandes. Not surprising, really. There's a chance that he might play twice in week 2. It's obviously, I've just today seen Tony's team, because I didn't see the pod that you did yesterday. You've gone without him, haven't you? I think. Or
yeah,
possibly it could change.
I'm sat there with Rangers in my team, and I've got the 1.5. Depends. I'm fancying Saka for the first game, and then probably bring Bruno in for the second week.
Cool. But yeah, nothing really to be said about Bruno.
No, definitely not.
He's, one of the two. There's two players that I basically feel like I have to have in my team, and the first one is obviously Bruno Fernandes. This is from the off, and the second one is Palmer. Obviously, I've got Salah in my team, but it's Salah and Palmer who I need to have in my team. Bruno is obviously a preferential pick. He did really well last year and in the top 10 scorers. So Palmer is my final midfielder, and my first striker is Mo Salah. Now, Palmer and Salah, I feel that I need to get into the team. It's not necessarily down to wanting them, but it's down to, I just feel that there's a lot more people coming across from other formats, FPL, and obviously a lot of really good fantasy managers. And at the moment, there's two players that are around 50% owned, and then there's quite a gap from then to the next, and it's those two players. And I just feel that if I don't start with those two players in particular, Palmer and Salah, if either one of them gets a really big score, particularly Salah, because I think he's probably going to be the most captained, you could be starting off on the back foot. And I think Palmer could quite possibly be captained quite strongly as well by decent managers. So if either of those score well, I want to at least have them in my team. But I'm definitely going to be captaining Salah anyway for the start, because the last thing that I want to do is start off on the back foot. My final player that's going to be up front is Gerard Bowen, and you don't really need to say much. Bowen last season in a rubbish West Ham team, he was kicking along, picking up points, one of the top scorers towards the end of the season as well. And like I say, I know there's other people that I could have in. When I made this team for this year, rather than, thinking who do I want or who do I need in my team, obviously Palmer and Salah, they have to be in there, not for reasons of me wanting them, but for reasons that I feel that I have to have them. I've actually gone down the line of asking me why not. So one of the things was, why have I only put Salah in from Liverpool? And the reason for it is he's probably going to have a high ownership and he's going to be captain game week 1. You've got other players at Liverpool like Frimpong, Ekitike, Wirtz. But the thing is, they're all kind of expensive and they're all just coming into the Premier League. And like I just said to you earlier on, if I can only think of 4 people that have hit the ground running, coming in from another league, then really I would rather see them do well first before I bring them into my team. Salah's got a proven track record, but like I say, he's also highly owned. And I know the other guys, quite a few people that are owning them, but I just feel that Salah is the only Liverpool option that I want for now, and I've set my team up where I don't have any stupidly low-priced players apart from the keeper. I just want a keeper that goes in and just stays. Not really interested in the keepers, but I need to have some wiggle room. So it's like, let's just say, for instance, you know, Wirtz has a blinder and gets a couple of goals. Yeah, there's going to be a few people that have got him that are going to benefit from that. But if he's going to be going up a fair amount, it's going to cost 6 million if I can remember rightly.
Yep.
So it's like I've got options all over the pitch here to be able to get him in, because we get 2 transfers a week. Now, let's just say Palmer or Salah are looking like they're going to be going down. You know, if they have a bad game on the first game, the chances that people will take them out anyway because they're going to be going down. I also get to see the first game of the season in anger, you know, because pre-season, you know, yeah, people can do really well, but what you got to realize is that they're just the team dynamics will be quite different, because the players that know that they're nailed, in my opinion, they're not going to be giving 100% in pre-season friendly. If they know they're going to be starting anyway, the players that are going to be doing the best are the ones that don't think they're going to be starting. So So the dynamics of the team, you know, who passes to who's wherever on the pitch, are going to be in the pre-season friendlies to what they're going to be like when it's a full-blooded Premier League game. And I think you learn a lot after the first and second round of fixtures. So, like I say, if I wanted to take Palmer and Salah out, I've already got some information on them before I do it. But I've got the 2 defenders also. I can take Cucurella out, for instance, and after the first game, I know that there's probably going to be some 2 million defenders that are from a team which I think, all right, they're playing quite well. I didn't know that player was going to be a nailed player, but if they've played well in the first game, they might be all going up by 0.3 million. You could take Cucurella out, and then you could get 2 million to add to Njai, who's 4 million. You could spend 5.5 on a striker or a midfielder. Once again, 6.5. So I could get Salah in by taking out Cucurella and Njai, for instance, if I felt that was necessary. I could take Bowen out and take a defender out, or I could take Bowen out and say like Reinders and sort of like have a less expensive midfielder and bring Haaland in, for instance. But I'm doing that after the first game is played, so you have a much more of a better idea of how teams set up and how they play and which players are playing well. So, yeah, kind of in a nutshell, that's the team that I'm with at the moment. I don't think it's going to change much. There might be a couple of changes, but I'm quite happy with that lineup. And yes, I don't have hardly any Liverpool players in, and also no Arsenal players. And the only reason for that is because Arsenal have got a hard away fixture in match day 1 and match day 3. And they're not getting a double game week in match day 2 either. They're playing. So anything could happen. I could put, like Saka in or Gyökeres in, and they might get good, or they might get a card or something like that. So I'd rather bring them in when I know that, the thing is, I only want Gyökeres or Saka in my team. I don't really start off with want 2 Arsenal. Once I've seen the first game and it's a full-blooded game, I'll know whether Gyökeres is going to start or whether the German forward is going to start in front of. So Havertz, I'll know what kind of dynamic it is. Are the team trying to get the ball to Gyökeres to score, or are they still getting the ball out to Saka to do his magic?
I think,
so,
obviously,
like I say, there's always...
with your 11, Andy, you've not got, other than the keeper, obviously, Andy's a Burnley keeper as well, which worries me as my tag team partner.
I don't think I'll be keeping him if he's injured.
there's nobody at a price point where you're going to get trapped very early. So, like you've got wiggle room within every player. I think that, like you say, even at 3 million, it's a decent price point where there's plenty of options at 3 million. If you were to keep the Wolves Ladarius, if he has an awful game, he gets sent off, or he looks like he's going down, there's plenty of players that will probably perform at 3 million that you can jump across to quite quickly. And it's the 2 millions, the 2.5s, they're the danger zones where if they have a bit of a stinker and you stick with them, as they start to drop, they can become problematic to try and get them out, because they are where you're probably going to end up going, do you know what, I'm going to have to drop from, so obviously you got Sal up top, to drop from Sal up top, because I need that money to put into this lad that's lost his value and boost him back up, and probably have to go and drop down to a Verts or a Ekitike. But like you say, you've priced it and you've structured it so to avoid that. And I get that. I don't like having a £2 million player in my team, because I think you can get stuck. I think the other season I got stuck with a player that I couldn't really move on, and it's not fun. It's not fun, especially when you're trying to build budget. So lots of wiggle room there, isn't there?
Yeah. Like I say, preferably, I probably do. I think I might end up going with Rose for Sunderland, because they've got a decent fixture run for the first 10. They've got quite a few games that they could possibly, keep a clean sheet.
They've been shy. They have been shy pre-season. I don't hold much hope for these promoted teams. I don't. But I'm sat there with a promoted team keeper in, because the position doesn't really bring much value. I think we Johnny Curry, who we had on last night, had Gummonson from Leeds, £2 million defender. That scares the hell out of me, because obviously he's in your outfield team, and if he's to drop value and you've got something else to tidy up after that first week, he could end up being stuck in your team at 1.6 million, 1.5 million, which is scary. But
I mean, I would. This is about strikers rather than goalkeepers, but I keep on looking at Championship players who do sensationally well. I used to be able to watch Championship games until relegation. But Crescencio Somerville last year, when he went to West Ham, I was thinking he was going to be absolutely unbelievable all the time in the world. And then God knows how many Dream Team points he got. Certainly didn't get many starts. I
think he struggled with injuries, Somerville, because when he first went there, he looked good. He was quite explosive, and I seen him in Championship as well, Wooly, and I thought, he'll do all right. I mean, he's brilliant. I think he's just been a bit unlucky with injuries, or he might have been injury prone, and we didn't really know. But stop-start there at West Ham.
So Andy, definitely good that Andy's not taken those punts. That's solid. Good team.
So, Andy, who's your captain for the first game week?
It's going to be Salah. He's just
Salah.
It's a captain's pick that I'd like to captain Palmer. I just think there's going to be a lot more people captaining Salah. I think he's going to be very, very much in his court. Now, the players to captain, you actually have quite a few different options. Now, you could captain Salah, Palmer, Haaland. They've all got decent fixtures. Kudus, you could captain. Also, Bowen, he's got a decent fixture as well. And Solanke. So there are quite a lot of picks. But I personally feel that Salah is going to be maybe about 40-50% captained. And then the rest is going to be split up. But that's just my personal opinion. But we'll see closer to the weekend, because at the moment it's looking like there's going to be about 70% of people captaining Haaland.
I really like your team, mate.
Not Haaland, Salah. Sorry, I do apologise.
I really like your team, and I like the Arias pick. I've got my eye on him, but I think I'm going to wait for him because just the fixtures.
That opening fixture's a thinker, isn't it, for Wolves?
Yeah.
And they haven't been playing well. But he's definitely someone. You write his name down.
He could play the double game week in game week 2 though, because Wolves are very short on players, aren't they? And they've been playing the same team all pre-season. So
been pretty much template all the way through pre-season.
My logical thinking is, say I put Arias in his first games against Nori and Rangers.
Yeah.
Now, Nori is, capable of scoring a goal, but what if they win like 4-1 and Arias scores the goal for, Wolves, and Nori bangs one in, and then he assists one for Haaland, and Rangers scores one and assists one for Haaland as well. So
I think with Nori straight away going back to Wolves he's either going to have an absolute stunning game or he's going to have a stinker. Yeah. It's going to be one end or the other. He's going to either get a goal, get an assist, or he's going to put one in his own net. It's going to go one way or other. But he's brilliant.
Well, yeah. So, like I say, if he doesn't do well and Man City beat them 5-0 or whatever, and he comes away with 1 point or 2 points, it's not that much of an issue because then I've got information on the other players, like maybe Bowen's not too well or he gets a card or something like that. I can then use the price, if I wanted to take him out, because if the rest of my team did well, I could take him out and any one of the other ones that are not doing too well, that look like they might go down in value, and then I could basically I could then get another midfielder and another striker. Like I say, it's all about giving yourself options, and as long as I don't go too low in the price brackets, I'm not handicapping myself. I have options to take 2 players out each week and get 1 lower value player and 1 premium. So that's kind of the way that I want to do it to start off with. Because, if you want to get, a lot of these players that can get points, you can't get a full team of them straight away, and it's going to be quite a while before you can. And the only way you can is by building budget and being smart.
Yeah, I think the only team so far that I've seen, and there's probably a hell of a lot more out there, that has he got 5 premiums, Scott?
Yeah.
He's got Haaland, Salah, Fernandes, Palmer, and Saka. And it takes some doing to get them 5 in. You do have to make concessions elsewhere. We discussed it last night. It is quite dangerous in the sense that, they are the ones that get points. But if you don't get the points early doors from your others, you could end up quickly having to sacrifice them just to stop your team losing quite a hell of a lot of budget because these 2.5 million picks have gone wrong. So it's very risky. I'm trying to find a balance amongst it. I think I'm probably way the other way where I don't have as many premiums. Ben's very much in the middle, aren't you? I think of me and Scott.
I've got 4 at the moment.
Yeah, so I think we're all seeing it a little bit differently as such, or being maybe a little bit braver, a bit more stupid, probably on my part. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting. It's an interesting start to the season. They priced it that well that I say that well. It's very difficult, but they priced it to a point where everyone is having to see it a little bit different and make concessions where usually we wouldn't have to. I don't think.
I just got 1 point to make, if you don't mind. Do you know if you've got 5 premiums?
Yeah.
Would you think that it's out of the question that 3 of them don't perform well in game week 1?
Oh, this is what I'm saying. You could
now if they only get
a hell of a lot of budget.
If they get a couple of points, you haven't got enough transfers to sort of like deal with that issue if you wanted to. If they're all going to go down by, if you've got like a 6.5 and 2 7.5 million players, and all 3 of them, and you've got 2 more that are 6 million, 3 of that lot, you could even get all 5 that only get 2 points. then they're all going to go down. That's 1.5 million you're going to lose off your squad value at the end of that week. You're going to lose 0.9 million guaranteed if all 5 of them don't really perform, because you can only take 2 of them out. And then what happens with the rest of your team, like you've said, Tony? So I do think I would rather bring. I want more. At the moment, I've got 3 premiums, haven't I? I've got Bruno, Palmer, and Salah. Now, I would rather bring in a premium as they're going up in value. I'd like, after you've seen them play, you've seen, what the future's possibly going to look like. So I'd rather have that choice of bringing in Saka when I know that ball's going to him for the majority of the match. I'd rather bring in players like Haaland, because the only reason why Haaland's not in there is because obviously he's a 2-dimensional points man. He either scores loads of goals and gets shots on target, or he scores 2 points. I bring Haaland out after having him for the first game because he's going to go down. I would rather bring him in after he'd scored a couple of goals and got a few points, because, like I say, Haaland I wouldn't probably captain for the first 5 weeks. There's other players I'd rather captain as opposed to Haaland, like Salah 3 out of the 5, Bruno 2 out of the 5 game weeks.
Haaland's a very much a shit or bust player. If you catch him on the right week and you captain him on the right week, he can send you flying up the league. But he's also got that side where how many times you captain him and it's a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer with just a shot on target. It happens. There's risks all over, isn't there? Obviously, once we get to one week in, 2 week in, 3 week in, we're going to have that little bit more knowledge, like you say, of who will be playing, who. Like we go to the Crystal Palace game for Liverpool, and Salah already touched the ball for 45 minutes. It's unheard of. It never usually happens, but Ekatike, Verts, Gakpo, they were all involved. They look quite good, Liverpool, like going forward. They look really nice. It was just Salah couldn't seem to get in on the act as well. It were a strange one, but yeah, we'll know more, won't we, going forward. But I like it, Andy. I like your points. I like how you're getting your pricing around your players and not risking going too low. I don't mind that. It's quite safe play, which is good for early doors.
All right, thank you.
I think it's very nice. I wonder whether you'll be bringing Haaland back in, though, for Burnley plus a Champions League game in game week 4, which, given the number of transfers in Dream Team and you're sort of bring him in on a price rise, maybe is fine.
I would like Salah in earlier than that if possible. I want Haaland to do really well this season, and I want him to start doing as well as he did on his first season, where he just tore it up. And yeah, I'd be bringing him in obviously when he's getting a rise.
And you had that, probably you had Salah in the side, and it's Haaland potentially on Manchester United at home and a European game. But yeah,
that's correct. Yeah,
that's the thing, is that there's a very quick turnaround early doors from having this Carabao Cup second round, where potentially, if you put the likes of the Everton players in, Leeds, West Ham, Brighton, you're going to get maybe a double game week, maybe. I mean, there's loads of times people have prepped for it and have it same, where you've hoped for that second game week, you've planned it around it, and you've just got the single. And then within 2 weeks' time, then you're going back into Europe and you're trying to switch your team back around. So it's the thing this year is obviously you can roll the 2 transfers, which is a big one. If your 11 players all perform first game week, it's my argument. I think if I can have my 11 players, which is what I'm hoping for, just do okay or do well with nobody dropping, I'd love to bank them 2 transfers and go into that game week 2 with 4 transfers. I'd love that, because I think that's set you up so well. You'd have the price rises, and then after that game week 2, winning to game week 3 on the back of nobody losing value, 4 transfers in the bank. I think you're rocking and rolling. I think it's very important to get this game week 1 right. And whether I'll be the one to do it, God knows. But yeah, I don't have Salah sat in my team or Fernandes at the minute, so it's quite worrying. But one of them. Right, Matt. You're going to follow that, mate. And
yeah,
interesting to see how you've gone now as well.
Well, maybe I'll go with the two of the attackers first, which kind of defines where I go elsewhere. So we've just been having a debate around investing 7.5 million in Erling Haaland, and I am going there. So I think, not as great a season in the Premier League last season. I think on your pod earlier in the week you discussed did have some good form in Europe, and 367 points. He's in my side. May not be captain, but in week 1, but he could score. He could score against Wolves. I think Wolves, not a side I'm seeing as a banker for a clean sheet at the moment, I have to say. So I'm quite happy with Haaland in from game week 1, but I can also see how that's going to lead to some of the compromises I make later on here. So there are a couple of positions where this decision will have knock-on impacts and will show. Secondly, Mo Salah. Again, as Andy said, not much need to debate that one. Start up with Bournemouth at home. Newcastle away, could be goals there as well. Very happy with Salah and very happy with the armband on him in game week 1 as well. And that's from last season, 870 points between those two players. I don't want to miss too much of that season. But that's obviously, as we say, £15 million out of 50 spent already.
Yeah.
So from there on, and I am pretty keen to go Haaland and Salah in this one. That's unlike some of the other formats of fantasy football this year, where I'll probably be going with Salah. I think they offer reasonable value still in Dream Team. Particularly, I know I want them when Europe starts again, and I'm keen to be in there before that and on the front foot. Goalkeeper. So I've gone Bayindir. I do want a 2 million goalkeeper as well. Frankly, he could become Perry or Roofs as time goes on. This is on the premise that we do get a fairly clear indication that Onana is going to be out for a little bit of time. So I'm hoping, in theory here, that Bayindir would play both in week 1 and then in week 2 against Fulham and potentially the Carabao Cup game. So that would be the logic of going there. Potentially a weaker goalkeeper in one of the promoted sides. So Perry potentially for Everton, Arsenal away, which would be tricky, Newcastle at home and a Carabao Cup game. I don't know if he's going to start game 1 though, and we might see Darlow out in that first game. So at the moment, that's my plan, but it will change depending on news as the week goes on. So then in defence, I haven't gone quite as big at the back as Andy. So I've put £10 million into the defence, which rather than 12, which I think Andy put in, which is partly as a result of Haaland and Salah. So first of all, I've got De Kuyper. I think he hopefully won't be the new Barco and actually not start the season for Brighton, as I think many people have picked up on. He is the shiny new toy, and I've sort of should be once bitten, twice shy. But in this case, he just looks great, and he does look like he's got that quality to deliver and got real attacking threat. I think Brighton's still a decent side, still got some good players there, and he should do well. The second player in defence that I've got is from West Ham, and lots of debates across different formats around whether it's El Hadj Diouf or Wan-Bissaka. I think in this one, Diouf for me in Dream Team. Other debates elsewhere, but having seen him in the friendly for West Ham, so I watched most of the friendly against Manchester United a few weeks ago, and he was getting forward really, really, really well compared to Wan-Bissaka included. Quite numerous crosses from the left, and just looked really good and exciting. And I'll be excited to watch West Ham matches with him. Maybe not quite as excited as having Bowen in, but I think Diouf will provide quite a few of the assists potentially. And their defence hasn't looked the greatest, and they may concede a few, but I think it's probably also not the worst. So I'm quite happy with Diouf for 3 million. Again, a good start to the season with that Carabao Cup potential as well. So Sunderland away in the first match, Chelsea in the Carabao, Forest away, Spurs at home. Some of those names sound like, middle table, middle top half teams, but I think Diouf's got a great chance of getting some attacking returns as well as whatever defensive returns he can get there. So happy with Diouf. The money in my defence has gone on Porro at the moment. So following with tried and tested players, again for attacking returns, I think Porro's right up there with some of the best defenders. And Burnley and Bournemouth at home, as I think's up on the screen now in game week 1 and 3, can't get much better than that. So I think there'll be quite a few people having Spurs assets in their side. This is the only one I'll have, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Porro gets on there. Man City away, not so easy, but I think Thomas Frank will probably make Spurs a better defensive side this season.
Definitely.
Clearly under Postecoglou were at times all out attack, and defensive players were in the opponent's half, let alone their own 6-yard box. So I think they'll be better this season defensively. So Porro got almost 300 points last year. Who knows? If he's fit all season, he could have more than 300 this season. So I'm very happy with that selection. Again, it's a bit longer term because of the Champions League. So am I being a bit not picking up some of the points at the start? I think there's a balance through this side. Not 100% sure it's quite right yet. In my side, then in midfield, we've got Cole Palmer, which for the same reasons as Andy said, he's great player, still on penalties, played well in the Club World Cup. He's one of the consistent top point scorers. Had a bad second half of the season, so there is that back of the mind that says in the actual Premier League season last season, not such a good finish. But I think we've seen a bit more of him again at the Club World Cup, and I don't think he's lost his talent. And I think Chelsea will be good to start this season. So I'm keen on Palmer in all formats. Then again, Njai. I think we're all learning how to pronounce that properly, but I don't have Saka or Reinders, so Njai's verging on one of my slightly more premium midfielders, but he's on penalties. I think he fits into that midfield as a pretty nailed-on starter, despite the arrivals of Grealish, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, etc. Good on bonus, as was mentioned earlier as well. So I'm happy with him. I think then he's also got great fixtures to start, Leeds and Burnley up in the first two. So my hope for him and Everton in general is a cracking first 3 weeks, which sees some price rises, because I might need them if I'm going to stick with the some of the premiums I've got to try and upgrade elsewhere on the pitch. So the next player, possible captain in game week 2, is Bruno Fernandes. Another tried and tested midfielder who should still be on penalties. Last season's total points exceptional at 443. And that's frankly the measure I'm looking at first of all, before adjusting it for any injuries. Is more proven than anything else, more proven than players we haven't seen, more proven than expected points, anything like that. So he is proven, passes the eye test every time you see him, even if Manchester United are playing abysmally, even if certain Manchester United pundits thinks he's abysmal and should be off, he consistently gets those returns, assists, penalties.
Yeah.
So I think no doubt that he's 20.8% selected, despite being at Manchester United and £6 million. Looks like they're going to be better, and he'll be possibly deeper for much of the season, given they've got several new attacking assets. Most recently Sesko, but also obviously Cunha and Mbeumo. But he's going to link up. If they're successful, he'll be linking up with them and providing assists. So definitely hoping Fernandes is a great asset there. Then we come on to the following 2 players, who are where compromises really start lying. So the first is McAtee. Now he's obviously just transferred to Forest, so there is a hope, that as the week goes on, it looks like he plays. And I'll be honest, since coming up with this draft yesterday, I haven't had much time at work today to keep up with any latest breaking transfer news or any latest breaking managerial interviews. So I will be looking keenly on that as the week goes on to see whether he plays. He could end up being another 2.5 million player. I think Carvalho was mentioned on your pod. I've obviously got a space up front where Thiago from Brentford, if he's looking like he's going to start the season as striker for Brentford, McAtee could become Thiago. I do have $500,000 in the bank once I pick my next player as well. So McAtee could even become Fulkrug up front for West Ham to get a bit of that West Ham attack. And I think Bowen and Fulkrug are going to have a good season. It's a good start to the season. Hopefully supplied by Juve. So McAtee at this moment is an optimistic punt, but we'll see as the week goes on. And then finally, somebody who I've watched a little bit of and I've seen do really well for me in Gaffer in the past, which is the fantasy football game for the Championship, is Kin and Dewsbury Hall. And I know there's at least one person in this chat who will have seen a lot more of Dewsbury Hall in his time at Leicester, Ben. But if he does end up playing in the sort of 10 role for Everton, which certainly did in one of the recent friendlies, I mean, he has got quite high potential, probably not as high as Njai, who would seem to be on penalties. Dewsbury Hall's certainly got a free kick in him and a corner in him. But he's a player I have in the past liked to watch live when I've had the opportunity to do that. He's a great player and he's 3 million. I will admit that McAtee and Dewsbury Hall, despite the fact most of the rest of the team has got a lot of proven points in it or looks exciting, could be a bit punty. And if Everton start badly, I've got 2 Everton players in my side. But then if Everton have a moderately tough draw in the Carabao Cup, play some of their good players, there's a lot of upside there as well.
Yeah.
You know, another player that was good in Gaffer, funnily enough, the name that came to my mind was Gyökeres. He did extremely well, but he was called Victor. He was called Victor, wasn't he, when he played for Coventry? In Gaffer, Yeah.
No, that's very true. No, so sensational player. I clearly don't have the money to spare with some other choices there to go there at the moment, but he did play really well in Gaffer, and I will also admit to having contradicted myself by saying Dewsbury Hall's really good in Gaffer. Dewsbury Hall's, let's face it, been good in the Premier League at times as well. Good in Gaffer does not mean good in Dream Team or
Dewsbury Hall, he's a talented player. Dewsbury Hall, he made the wrong move. He went to the wrong side. It always seemed a bit odd. Hopefully now he can kickstart again and do well at Everton, because he is a talented player.
And that was something I was keen to pick up on a little bit, Everton in particular. I mean, I can't think of a season recently, a summer, where there's been as much transfer activity between English clubs for a start, but also into the Premier League full stop. And Everton seem to have done about as much business as anyone else. I think they've potentially got 6 first-team players who've come in. I'm just interested in thoughts on Everton in general as to how they will fare.
I think they've bought well. I think that the acquisitions they've made they're good. They're good players. Grealish, I think, is a nice little steal that from. I think he really. If we see the Grealish that was at Villa, that maverick, that player who could just make something happen out of nothing, because he was brilliant at Villa. He had a good season at City. He just ended up too predictable and end at City. Whether he's like that maverick side of him was kicked out of him a little bit. It's a shame, because he's such an exciting player to watch at Villa. So if he can do anything like what he was doing back then for Everton, they've got a proper player on their hands there. Dewsbury Hall, again, to say he's such a talented lad. He could do well, and obviously, if Ndiaye plays through middle, I don't think they need a striker. But it looks like that Everton that Everton front lot are probably just short of a proven goal scorer, maybe. But other than that, I think they bought well or signed well.
Yeah, agreed.
I like the team. I'm jealous of Porro. I'd love to start the season with him. I've gone for Kudus at the minute. But yeah, Porro's a good pick. Ndiaye as well. I like Ndiaye pick. Don't know if I can get him in my team, but McAtee's interesting one. See if he starts with Forest. Might be one of them ones where he has to be integrated first.
Yeah, I probably see that.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. I think it's definitely this is definitely leading up to a Friday evening where I'll be watching a Deadline stream.
Deadline stream's Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday. Yeah. No, I'll definitely be watching. Definitely be watching on Thursday night to try and get some last minute thoughts, and definitely be following the McAtee story and others at different clubs as to where we think some of these new players are going to start or not. So I'm quite excited. Obviously, McAtee's still got the Manchester City fixtures on there rather than the Nottingham Forest fixtures. But
throw up a Forest player. Let's have a look at their fixtures.
Yeah,
it's funny how
they start. Sorry.
It's funny how quickly they changed the Grealish to Everton, but they didn't do McAtee.
Got that McAtee, haven't they? Again, he's a talented player. I'm glad he's moved to get some game time. Definitely needs to be playing minutes now at his age.
Obviously the one so they're decent fixtures to start. The one thing he won't have is any Carabao Cup, because Forest, obviously, as we know, are in the Europa League.
Oh, don't start about that. Yeah.
Following the Palace failure at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So Forest in the Europa League. but it's a good start. And 2.5 million. Not
two good home games that for Forest to start with, and I think they may be one of the teams that we forget how good they were last year. Obviously, Dream Team have priced them though where they finished, so I don't see there's much value other than McAtee, obviously, because he's come from City as well. He won't get any game time, so he's priced quite low. But like the defense and like Gibbs White at 4.5, they're priced as they were last season. Whereas, are they going to replicate that? It's a tough ask. But they were good. They was good last year.
It's really tough. And a lot. Sorry, Andy.
No, I'm just saying I like the look of that team. It's a really good looking team. What do you know? Diouf and Dewsbury Hall are two players that I'm interested in, but I can't really bring myself to bring two Everton midfielders in. And also the Bayindia. I might go there, but my only thing is that if Anana's not far away from being fit, basically it's a transfer that you're going to be using. And if we've got by game week 6, I think we all want a full European squad if possible. But yeah, if I were putting players in, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to have to use a transfer to get them out. But then, is he going to go up in value enough to get a keeper from a European playing team? That would be ideal. If he went up to about 3 million, like in a few weeks. And then you could just basically get a keeper from a European playing one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to say, last season, Martinez from Villa was pretty much a set and forget all season. I think my big problem at the moment is I can't really spend more than 2 million on a goalkeeper unless I take that 500,000 and put it into $500,000 in the bank and put it into the goalkeeper. But even then, I probably won't have the goalkeeper I want. So it's one of a couple of punty choices I've taken early on the season. But I'm a bit more minded to be aggressive this season. I've been quite defensive for the first 2 seasons of the new format of Dream Team, and I don't think it's worked being too defensive. Best game I had last season by a long shot was in Telegraph, which is a game where being defensive and holding your nerve until late in the season and making transfers late on really works. I was playing a far too sensible game last year, I think, and far too not chasing the upsides. So I'm definitely
that excitement going, Matt.
I know.
I can't help but take a punt and get excited on the weekend. This is what we were talking about with Scott saying about putting a player in because of his ownership. I hate it. I hate that ownership dictating to me how dangerous it is not to have them. But
well, if you're gonna pick a player based on ownership, you might do quite well. But I think if you listen to some of the stories across most different fantasy football games, including Dream Team, if you listen to Fergie when he talks about when he's won, there's always been a couple of things that have gone slightly against the grain. Not because it's a punt per se, but because it's an intelligent move. And not everyone's done it. But that's obviously what's going to separate the likes of him from the crowd at that point. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get your punts in early. Right, chaps, it's been an absolute pleasure, as usual. All the best for the season. I'm sure both of you will be on the main pod at some point. Andy, you know the drill now with the tag team. We had a chat at the meetup, and we've decided to give it. We re-signed for a 1-year contract. Let's see how it goes this year.
The Blackburn too.
The Blackburn too. But yeah, honestly, absolute pleasure to have you both on. Thanks very much for running for your teams. It's so good to see different opinions and different players popping up here and there. So yeah, it gives everyone a bit of food for thought. And yeah, like I say, we'll speak to you again through the season. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot for having us on, guys. It's always been enjoyable.
Yeah, it's also been really enjoyable. Thanks, all three.
Yeah,
cheers guys.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.